Okay, Aquarius. This is component number 2 of your weekly reading. My video cut out. So I'll upload 2 videos for Aquarius, so part 1 and part 2. Okay, where was I? This is a spiritual lesson in the emotional weight of the past, Aquarius. That's what's going on for you right now, perhaps for some of you. Because ultimately we can sit in this space questioning, mistrusting, feeling deceptive, dealing with deceptive behaviors, okay, that do not feel like equal reciprocity. I feel like I'm connecting to some that are very strategic in their giving, and this is not the situation I was picking up earlier and telling a story. Someone needs to open up here. Open up, okay? Because the only cups cards I have on the table is the 8 of Cups, which is a fear card. Same too with the 4 as your outcome, okay? But I'll talk more about that. You are invited to opportunity here, Aquarius, to truly eclipse the past, the weight of the emotional past. That's what the 2 of Wands talks about. It invites us to opportunity to step out of this and surrender to trust, okay? Because that is your theme. In the recent past is the 9 of Coins, and I've talked about this card as, you know, you and you alone have yourself to thank and pat on the back for how far you have achieved. Like I'm talking to individuals here that are self-sufficient and self-made and not used to relying on anyone. And you know what, I guess we can tick goals and achieve this and set up homes and look after kids and all that sort of stuff, but at the end of the day, these are tangible things that can be bought and traded. And yeah, I know you're successful and I know you can live a successful life on your own. The 9 of Coins is a single person, not just a single female, she's a single person. I know you are successful on your own, but that is the invitation here, is to share. There's not just one, there's 2. And there's him holding the energy between them. You know, this is the energy that is created between 2 people, 2 points in the timeline. You are invited to opportunity here that actually ultimately steps you out of the safety of this, because it is safe. No one can hurt you here. We don't have to worry about deception and reciprocity when we're on our own, because it's all tangible in the 9 of Coins. It's bought and traded, and we just, if I don't feel like mowing my lawn, I'll go and spend money and get someone to do it for me. You know, I'm not risking my heart. There are no hearts here. I'm not saying you are the water bearer. You know, a lot of people mistake Aquarius as too intellectual, and you know, you're very driven, and probably is even a turn on for you that someone is intellectual, okay? You're very intellectually driven. You are the higher consciousness, the view from above that ultimately steers us all into this new age of Aquarius that we're all stepping into, Aquarius, you know. But as the water bearer, you are so good at housing emotions. But my question, and this is only for a few Aquarius that I'm connecting into, are you so good at housing it that you've folded away so far in the back that you didn't even know it was there? Because you are the water bearer. You know how to bear the waters. You know how to bear the waters of the emotional body. You know how to carry emotion. You know how to carry the weight that comes with risk of opening to love and to opening to trust, because that's what is at the base of all this, is the Ace of Cups, your cup flowing over. This is the beginnings of love. This is opening our heart to love, allowing love to come into our life and giving ourselves permission to surrender to it. Because ultimately all friendships and all connections cross our path for a reason, Aquarius. There's a lot of interconnectivity here. Like, look at the symbolism in this card. See the geometry. All connections in your life, everything you have ever been through, This is not just about intimacy and romantic connections. This is about family and friendships, the role you have always played, the boundaries you have always allowed to be crossed, the many times in which you refused to give because you felt vulnerable. It didn't make you feel safe. It felt like you had to stand next to someone and rely on someone, Aquarius. You are invited to a gift of love. And it really is up to you, I think. I would suggest that you pay attention to your dreams, you pay attention to your intuition with the Hierophant crowning you here, because I think this is also a very spiritual connection for those Aquarius that are watching this and that are thinking of a certain connection in particular. I don't feel this is new. It definitely could be. Okay, so I know that Ace of Cups is here. It could definitely be a new connection, but I feel like I'm connecting into an Aquarius that has found safety in the fun. You know how to connect passionately, sexually, with fire. But this, I can't get it away from this, Aquarius. There's strategy around what you give. I'm talking to an Aquarius that knows how to connect on all the levels that might look like intimacy, but ultimately deep within, deep within is the vulnerability that perhaps you walked away from giving a very long time ago because of past pain. Intuitively, I'm even picking up on, what you learned about emotions and your cups. The cups you gave that weren't received, you were not seen, you were not heard. Your love, I feel like crying. Your love wasn't recognized. You felt alone. So it's safer. It's safer to look like you are happy on the outside and successful, and that you have built this life for yourself. I feel really emotional. I feel like I'm connecting into Aquarius that are feeling super vulnerable about being vulnerable because you are a thinker, okay? You think, you don't feel comfortable with your emotions. But you are Aquarius, you are the water bearer. That's why I said that at the start. Be brave, because you are more than comfortable in your emotions. If you give yourself an opportunity to get raw and real, Aquarius, I feel like there's a connection here. It could be a past connection, a new connection that feels like a past life, a connection that from the past. All of these different levels of experience are offering you an opportunity, just like all of these connections that I talked about earlier, are offering you an opportunity to be invited to connect in genuinely to your emotional body. Because you are, look, male or female, sorry, let me just have a moment. Male or female, you're completely comfortable in your physical element, your fire element, physical connection, okay? You know how to do the motions, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, okay? On the physical, the tangible, on the surface, sex within a relationship even. But I'm talking about a missing ingredient, Aquarius. And I think there's Aquariuses out there that know exactly what I'm talking about here. because on some level you hope and you fear you intellectualize everything a bit too much, and you remove yourself based on this cognitive dissonance, this ways of thinking about the role you're meant to play, what love is, what reciprocity and strategy is. I'm talking to an Aquarius that feels like vulnerability is a weakness. I'm talking to a female Aquarius that might be dealing with two different counterparts here. And that indecision, whether it is indecision to decide between two people or an indecision to decide to step into a new relationship and embrace vulnerability, that indecisive energy, whether we're, okay, so let me just give you my thoughts on cheating. I'm not saying the Aquarius, every single Aquarius I'm speaking to is living infidelity. When we are afraid of vulnerability, we stick only on the surface, okay? We don't go any deeper than that. I can play a role, I can be this partner, I can go to bed and have sex and wake up and go to my job and make sure that we've got plans this week, and we catch up with our friends on Thursdays and Saturdays, and we do dinner, and whatever the case may be. And that might be a new relationship that looks exciting, or for all intents and purposes on the physical outer layer, it is this thing, relationship, situationship, whatever. But it doesn't progress because you choose not to. And it is the same energy that, we often wonder, why did someone cheat on me? Why did someone lie? Why were they being unfaithful? Why were they being strategic with my heart? I'm not excusing bad behavior, but ultimately when someone is not willing to meet themselves at the depths of who they are and be vulnerable with what they want, and they live on the surface, because ultimately is safe. It is about ego. It's not about ego for everyone. It's the same energy, it is, I'm not going to genuinely care about my deeper needs and honor them by finding an opportunity and outlet to release that and open to vulnerability and to connect into something that sorry, God, I can't even speak. I'm not even going to care enough about what I deeply need inside to be vulnerable and connect into that vulnerability, and then thereby letting it be mirrored in my outer relationships. If I'm just connecting on a physical layer, on an intellectual layer, it all looks well and good. But if I'm not going deep and allowing myself to be vulnerable, in many ways it is the same energy as wondering why connections always get to a point where we're finding we want something else. And so in some connections that don't go for one individual, it might be for one individual they were really deep and in love, and but the other one never really went that much deeper, despite on the surface it looked like it. Does that make sense? Because we can get lost in the overthinking about why someone has betrayed us, but ultimately they've been betraying themselves the whole time. Because if they can't connect to themselves on a deeper level, they're not willing to connect to someone else and open to the vulnerability, which leads to genuine connection and respect and trust, and rather than this surface satisfaction stuff. So if I'm only in a connection to get physically satisfied or to stroke my ego, then all I have to really do is intellectualize the fact that something did or didn't happen on the sides of that. Does that make sense? Am I going off on a tangent here? Until you connect to vulnerability and accept an invitation to a new opportunity, Aquarius, I think you will always be coming across this energy. Maybe this exists within you. Maybe you have done this. Maybe you are doing this, being strategic in your giving. Maybe life is reflecting it back at you to learn that lesson into how that has happened in the past because you haven't been clear on what you were willing to give. I also want to say the past is relevant here. This might be a past life connection. And you know, when we cross paths with souls that ultimately light the fire within us in one form or of another, when we connect on a soul level, it is a deep healing. I'll see what other cards are here. But with the surrender card here, Aquarius, you're very much invited to embark on a journey that might take you back to your childhood. You might be connected to someone that is from your childhood. You might be connected into a relationship that reminds you of the past, that helps you heal the past. And you know what? It is those relationships that are potent, that ultimately help us transmute. I'm feeling a deep transformation coming. I know these cards don't say it per se, but I picked up on, and I know you've had a big couple of years. You've gone through the Phoenix energy in many ways. And so I'm maybe speaking to some Aquarians that haven't quite transmuted the last of it, because underneath all this is a need to do this. Underneath all this, no sweetie, don't go. Sorry, my cat's trying to come in. I want to finish this off for you, Aquarius, but Ace of Cups is at the bottom of your reading, and so too is the Two of Coins. Okay, what are you juggling? Are you juggling your deeper needs with what you sort of put out there in the world, on what you say, speak, ask? Are you juggling two people? Are you juggling two personalities and elements of you? Is there inner conflict in the Five of Wands that you ultimately need to put some strong boundaries down? I think this is internal. I'm talking to an Aquarius that is experiencing this internally about their beliefs, their spiritual beliefs of the emotional weight they're carrying and where to from here. If I was to come up with a theme, you are invited to step into the new chapter of your life, but I think you're not quite there yet. You need to deal with this inner conflict. You need to deal with this energy of feeling like reciprocity has to be a strategy. There is a deep need to release the emotional weight of the past. I know that's easier said than done. It is an activity in itself. And then you will feel clear. Then you will feel like you're leveling up. Okay? I could just keep pulling cards. Like, there's a transformation. Don't be scared of the Tower card, okay? It's underneath, and you know that you can feel it. Let's look at some timing. The next year, I'm going to call some timing on here. The next year is a deeply transformative time, Aquarius, when it comes to finding a connection, opening to connection, that you take the invitation to explore genuine vulnerability. No more playing games, no more strategies, no more keeping yourself safe in your strategies, about the rules and regulations around give and take, and these are the rules in dating, and it's a spiritual call. It's a spiritual message that's trying to make its way to your ears and your heart. You might be dealing with a fire sign, another air sign. These signs might be applicable to the lessons and the inconnectivity of all of the connections in your life that's ultimately brought you to where you are now, and how you believe in love or not, and what you believe it could or can't be. Okay, I feel like you're being asked to surrender. Old beliefs, old fears, there's a lot of red energy there, okay? To see it from a higher view. To really look at how it infuses every cell and fiber of your being. It might date back to childhood, okay? surrender, your need to control. Okay? Accepting loss. You are the star. You are closing a chapter in big, big ways. This is a healing that ultimately leads you to an opportunity where you can offer your cup, you can offer your heart. Someone offers their love to you so that you are then fully ready to accept it, Aquarius. No more games, no more thinking that wishes. This is a wish card. Divine inspiration and new beginnings. It's not something we can just intellectualize. We have to experience it in our emotional body too. Charging ahead. This is you in your element, feeling very youthful about the two eyes, the four walls, and the two arms that you want to call home. This is your 1111 card, my dear. What did you not learn this last year? What have you learnt this last year? What will you be learning this last year? Two aces. There's beginnings. There are beginnings here for you. Something long-lasting and solid. Okay? I hope that has helped, Aquarius. Sorry about the two-part video. I have children and cats and dogs. There'll be lots of pauses and interruptions. I hope that resonated. Leave a message, let me know. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you next week.